tonight, the gentleman who's going to give you the game plan for how you can make the money that you want to make with this movement hails from the great state of Florida. This guy has an incredible story. You know, we can identify with him because he started from humble beginnings, but has gone on to be a multiple seven-figure earner, and he has a heart as big as Texas. I mean, it's going to come through loud and clear when he presents this opportunity that he just wants you to win like he has won. He's a family man, and it gives me great honor and pleasure to introduce to you Mr. T. Lamont Silver. The call is yours, sir. Take it away.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mrs. Ayabumi Moore. And I know you're out there in Vegas on business. Hopefully you'll have some fun. Just keep it clean. Just keep it clean as you're out there.
Absolutely.
All right. As a matter of fact, my wife has been bugging me about getting her out to Vegas. We love going out there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to all of our guests that are here for our income opportunity presentation, to all of our existing Jubi promoters who are here to get your vision re-stretched. My name is T. Lamont Silver Sr. Everyone calls me T. Lamont. I'm excited that my wife came home today. She had had a couple of little health challenges, had been in the hospital for a few days. And so thank you for those of you that offered up thoughts and prayers and support and concern. She is home, and I am so excited about it. Now, let's talk to you about JubiRev. Let's talk to you about Jubi Max. We've been in the industry now 19 years, going on 20 years, my lovely wife and myself. We struggled early on, the first few years out of the gate. We struggled. Many of you can probably identify with that. And when we finally hit our stride, and, you know, we bought into the dream, Shantae, of getting to $10,000 US a month in our business. Boy, if we could ever get to $10,000 a month, we felt like we would have been to the mountaintop. And we finally got there. Took us a long time, but we finally got there. Let me tell you what, though, Lyndon, what we were not prepared for was the empty feeling that we had when we were finally starting to make it, Kamar, but our teammates weren't. Probably 90% of our folks weren't making money. And as we looked across the landscape of the entire industry, that was about what we were seeing. Some 80, 90% of the folks, you know, dedicated but not making money. And you almost feel kind of guilty if you're a leader and you're making good money, but your folks aren't. And unfortunately, that just seemed to be the way of this industry. The first 17 years we were in it. The first few years we struggled. Then we finally hit our stride, and we, you know, started making some really good money. But most of our folks, 80, 90% of our folks weren't. A couple of years ago, there was a new compensation model that emerged that really changed those numbers around. To where now, all of a sudden, all promoters with a particular company, let's say 90% of them, could make money on a daily basis. And I'm going to tell you, not all companies in our industry are excited about that model, because that may mean they may have to make some changes if they want to continue to do business and do business the way that they are. Let's talk about this model, because JubiRev, Jubi Max had the foresight to adopt this compensation model where all of our qualified promoters can be paid every single day. JubiRev is our company's promoter side. This is the marketing engine. This is where you and I will reside as promoters. The company doesn't refer to us as affiliates or reps. They refer to us as promoters, and we're going to market for Jubi Max. Jubi Max is our customer portal. Jubi Max, we're going to have great products, health and beauty products, skincare, weight loss, energy products, vitality products. We'll have a healthy coffee in the coming months. We've got travel that will be launching here very soon with our Jubi Vacations. And we just launched our Jubi Rebate, which is a very, very, very exciting part of our product portfolio. Now, so we're going to focus on the income side tonight on how average everyday people, how the 90 percenters, heretofore the 90% of the folks in this industry didn't make money. Let's talk about how the 90 percenters can now start to make money on a daily basis. By the way, Jubi is short for jubilant. Vernetta, jubilant means triumphant. So we want Jubi Rev, we want all of our promoters to be triumphant. Jubilant also means merry. Michael also means excited, elated, ecstatic. We want our customers to be excited, elated, and ecstatic. Now, our vision is to spark a global economic movement all around the globe. That's why you heard people like Isaiah from Cambodia, George from Australia, Ralston from the UK, our friends down there in Jamaica, Lawrence and Lancelot down in Jamaica. We've got folks all across the globe because this is a global movement to lead the revenue sharing revolution, this compensation type model where the company shares much of its daily commissionable sales volume with our qualified promoters. At the same time, though, we're going to empower people all around the globe to look good, feel good, and live good. Now, we are led into this movement by a tremendous, and I don't have enough fantastic, dynamic superlatives to talk about our president and our owner, J. Joshua Beisel. I get a chance to see him up close, working with our programming team, working with management, working with support, working with vendors. Ladies and gentlemen, he has executive experience in the traditional business world. He was a top executive with an alternative energy company. He understands the home business world. He took a borrowed budget of $55.36 and turned that into multiple seven-figure enterprises. He is also the founder and current CEO of the largest independent MLM call center in the world. And he's had as his clients some of the top income earners in our industry, representing a myriad of companies. Now, corporate highlights: we are a British Virgin Island company. We've got some international operations that will be shared with our folks very soon. We've got fully staffed customer support. Very important that we've got our own in-house software development team. This is really important because our software was built from the ground floor just for us, so any modifications that need to be made or as we grow, that will grow with us. We've got our own in-house legal team. Very, very, very important because they are there to passionately and vehemently defend the interests of JubiRev, Jubi Max. We've got top MLM compensation attorneys that we have on retainer. They help to go over our compensation and help to make sure that we're in compliance with the laws and the regulations that particularly govern the U.S. If you pass the regulatory test in the U.S., you'll probably pass them throughout most of the world, as well as real products. Now, JubiRev is the marketing arm of JubiMax, and we're going to lead the revenue sharing revolution. As you heard Ayabumi Moore say, we're not just a company, we are a movement. And JubiMax is where our customers are going to look good and feel good and live good. Okay, so let's talk about this model where we started to see the 90 percenters who heretofore 90% were not making money. Now all of a sudden we started to see Joe and choose the average starting to make money. And our model, we call it our daily leadership bonus. So let's talk a little bit about this. Okay, so here we were. We struggled. We finally hit our stride. We finally started making some really good money. Empty feeling, because most of our teammates, you know, the Nancys of the world, the Peters of the world, the Louises of the world, great people, but they were part of the 90%, not really making a lot of money. So a couple of years ago, we stumbled across a model where all of a sudden the ratios changed. Now 90% of the people were making money. And we saw our Joe and Susie averages. There's a young lady named Lynn. Love Lynn. She's absolutely phenomenal. I've known her now for 10 years. We've been in business in some form or fashion with each other for 10 years. When I first met her, she wasn't on my team. I wasn't on her team. We were promoting a traditional MLM network marketing company. And she came to every event. If it was an offline event, she was there. If it was a conference call, a webinar, she was there. As a matter of fact, I want you to open up your questions box. See if you can identify with Lynn, if you would, okay? This is what would happen. Lynn would invite someone to a conference call, a webinar, an offline event. This person would promise Lynn, maybe even affirm, maybe even swear, I promise you, Lynn, I'm going to be there. The webinar would take place, the conference call would take place, the offline event would take place, and that person never showed. If you've ever had that happen to you, someone stood you up and didn't even give you the respect of letting you know what happened. If you've ever dealt with that, put a yes in your questions box. You can put a Y there or a yes. Oh my gosh, look at all those yeses, okay? All right, this is going to be very important because many of you are going to identify with Lynn, and then when you hear the rest of Lynn's story, how it relates to this type model, for those of you that have been part of the 90% club where you weren't making money, this is going to provide a lot of hope for you. Lynn would invite someone to the conference call, the webinar, the offline presentation. They would promise they were going to show up, and this time they actually came. Yes, Lynn inside, she's jumping up and down because this person actually did what they said they were going to do. They sat through the presentation, very good presentation. Lynn goes up after the presentation offline or conference call or webinar, gets back with that person. That person says, very interesting. Yeah, I like what I heard. Let me go home and think about it, pray about it, talk to my spouse. Talk to my significant other, my dog, my cat, my goldfish. Call me back in a day or two. Lynn calls back in a day or two, gets the voicemail, leaves a voicemail, no response. Another day or two goes by, she calls, leaves a voicemail, no response. Another day or two goes by, no response. Lynn sees them in the mall. Lynn sees them in the grocery store, and that person seems to dodge at Lynn. If that's ever happened to you, put a yes in your questions box. Yes or why? A lot of you, again, can identify with Lynn. Okay? Then would invite someone to the conference call, the webinar, the offline presentation. That person would show up. Yes. That person would say, hey, get back with me. And they actually got back with Lynn. When Lynn followed up, Lynn knew that the fortune is in the follow-up. The person joined. The person joined. Now, Lynn had been taught that you are just one recruit away from an explosion. So Lynn got really excited. This person was very pumped up. They even made a list of maybe their friends and family, maybe their top 100. Remember those days? 100 folks that you can go and talk to the business about. And a week would go by, 2 weeks would go by, and people from that list weren't engaging in the business or buying the products or services. And then 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks goes by, and Lynn stops hearing from her new prize recruit. And then they eventually even came off auto-ship. That's ever happened to you, put a yes in your questions box. You got the recruit, but then you got on a recruiting treadmill. A lot of you. Okay. All right. So you can identify, and you can see why so many people don't make money in this industry. This model, ladies and gentlemen, changes the ballgame because every day can be payday. Every day can be payday. We're going to talk about that. Before we get to that point, however, I do need to make sure that you understand that the income opportunity is only as good as the product offering. And this is important for us to note because, unfortunately, on the internet, there's a lot of stuff out there. And some of them look really, really, really good, but many of them won't pass the test of time because they're not built on a solid foundation. You've got to be built on a solid foundation of products and services. As our president and owner often says, compensation is a reward for service. Let's talk about our products and services. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have in our product portfolio are some of the product lines that move the most on the internet, that move the most in our industry. Skincare. If you were to take a look at the top 10 companies in our industry, Avon being number 1, when related to global sales, Amway being number 2, they do $9.2 billion a year in global sales. When you take a look at the top 10, I believe it's 7 of them of the top 10 have a skin care line. So if you're going to have a compensation model that rewards all qualified promoters and takes a portion of your daily revenue as a company and you share that with all of your qualified promoters, you might want to have a product line that we already know moves massively through this type of model. We also have weight loss. So a lot of people will, customers will use our skincare products again and again and again. Some will, some won't. But then you've got folks that want to lose weight. Then there'll be some folks who use the skincare and they want to lose weight. How about that? Then we have our energy products. These are phenomenal products. We're getting tremendous testimonies of our energy product, people having sustained productive energy, not jitters or anything like that, but just, boy, I've got more clarity, I've got more focus, I have more energy. Very soon we'll have our own line of vitality products. You see how she's looking at him and how he's looking at her. You can probably figure out what that product is about. This is a family show, so I will leave it at that. Our Jubi Trainer, which will soon launch, and what has just launched, our Jubi Rebates. I want you to imagine this. With Jubi Rebates, ladies and gentlemen, we are able to give access to a shopping engine that when someone downloads that shopping engine, they get to download the shopping engine for free. when they download the shopping engine and then they go to Bing or they go to Google and they type in Nike shoes or they type in laptop computers or whatever it is they might be shopping for, it shows them the vendors and the merchants that's giving them cash back. They might get 5.3% cash back if they go with Best Buy, or they might get 9.2% cash back if they go with another retailer. Our Jubi Rebates has over 5,000 retailers like Walmart, like Target, like Best Buy, and every time our customers shop through those portals, ladies and gentlemen, they get cash back. And let me tell you something else that happens. Every time our customers shop through that portal, the company makes some money, and the company shares a portion of that with us on a daily basis. Very soon, our Jubi Resorts, Jubi Vacations will launch. We've been waiting for our third-party vendor to put some things in place for that to happen. I hear that's just right around the corner. We've been waiting on them. But when that happens, I want you to imagine being able to travel all across the globe, you and customers alike, for pennies on the dollar. Hey, by the way, in your questions box, tell me, where's your dream vacation? Where do you want to go? So you're going to have access to over 2,000 luxury resorts. Tell me, yeah, Tahiti, gotcha. Or somebody wants to come to Orlando. Bring the kids down here to Orlando. You want to go to Fiji Islands. Fantastic. 2,000 luxury resorts over 85 countries. We're talking about 8-day, 7-night vacation stays. Bora Bora, I see a whole bunch of Hawaii's in here. 8-day, 7-night vacation stays. Instead of you having to go and buy a timeshare, you simply get to pay for the week, but you're going to get like 70% off on that week. You may get a $2,500 week for $500 as an example. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember, we've got to be built on a solid foundation of products. Now, however, it's not just products that matter and services that matter. What gives us a competitive edge? Why would someone use our skincare? Why would someone use our weight loss products? Why would someone, when we have launch our Jubi coffee line, why would someone drink our coffee? Well, here's a couple of challenges that we see in online e-commerce. Challenge number one is you've got a lot of skepticism. Like I just said, well, why should I use your Jubi youth skincare line when Avon has a skincare line and Mary Kay has a skincare line and all these other great companies have skincare lines? Well, so this is what we're going to be able to do. How about we're able to give our prospective customers samples? How about a 30-day supply of our skincare, 30-day supply of our weight loss, 30-day supply of our energy products, or whatever the products that we have as our Jubi branded products, being able to offer a sample, not a 1 or 2 or 3-day sample. I'm talking about a full, maybe 30-day supply to bring down those walls of skepticism. Now, let's say someone gets a 30-day supply of our weight loss products, and they shed 8, 10, 12 pounds in those 30 days. But they still have some pounds to go. What's the chances they're going to come back and then want to purchase some weight loss products? And then when they come and do that, ladies and gentlemen, they get to see everything else we have. Hey, the weight loss was good for me. Maybe I should try the vitality products. Maybe I should try, Jubi coffee. Yeah, I love my coffee. So that is one competitive advantage. We're going to be able to give away samples. The second competitive advantage is that we get to give away what we call Jubi Bucks. Now, essentially, this is like a gift certificate, okay? So if you had a $50 gift certificate, that means you could apply $50 towards the purchase of a product at XYZ company, okay, XYZ merchant. But with us, we're going to be able to give away what we call these Jubi certificates that have Jubi Bucks. Okay, so here we go. Kim is your customer. She's not an entrepreneur. She's not looking to build a business with you. Maybe you know her. Maybe she's a friend of yours. Maybe she's an associate of yours. Maybe you met her online. Maybe she's responding to an advertisement that you've placed online. That's one of the things that we'll do to help build the brand is advertise on a daily basis. Here we go. So Kim, maybe she's already gotten your skincare sample or your weight loss sample. Now she wants to buy more. She comes into the Jubi Max portal. She goes shopping. $100 is what she's going to purchase in skincare as an example. But you've given her 50 Jubi bucks onto a Jubi certificate. She now gets to go to the checkout, $100 item. She gets to apply the $50 Jubi bucks towards that $100 purchase, offsetting the purchase amount by the $50 Jubi bucks you gave her. If you gave her 43 Jubi bucks, she'd be able to use the 43 Jubi bucks. If you gave her 72 Jubi bucks, she'd be able to use 72 Jubi bucks. So now what we've done is two things. One, we've torn down the wall of skepticism by allowing the customer to sample our product. They typically just cover the shipping cost of sending that product to them. Two, we've developed customer loyalty by being able to give this customer Jubi bucks again, and perhaps again the next month, and perhaps again the next month, so that as they continue to reorder, they can use the Jubi bucks to offset the cost of the products and services that they're purchasing. Is that brilliant, or is that just brilliant? That's brilliant. Okay, the beautiful part is giving away these Jubi bucks, very simple. We have pages. We simply have the customer to register. So when you align with us, friend, one of the things that we'll have you to do is get your link out to everyone in your email database. You don't have to call them up and try to sell them. Just register for free and get some Jubi bucks. You'll find out about some customer co-ops if you need other ways of getting customers. And, of course, through training, you'll learn other ways that you can have plenty of folks coming to you to claim your Jubi bucks. Now, let's talk about the money. Let's talk about the money. Company's going to pay us 10 dynamic ways. I don't have time to cover all 10 ways, but I do want to cover that way that we talked about with the 90%er. See, this is what happened with our friend Lynn. Okay? Lynn embraced a model like I'm about to show you a couple of years ago. Up to that point, she had had a very tough time making money in this industry. In many cases, never made much more to cover her monthly subscription or auto ship with the company she was promoting. In many cases, she never even made that. However, when Lynn embraced a model that paid her daily, a few months into that model, Lynn was making enough to not only cover her monthly subscription, but to pay a bill, like a car payment. And then a few months after that, the same Lynn that was having a challenge recruiting and sponsoring in other businesses, all of a sudden Lynn was making enough to make a house note. And then ultimately Lynn got to the point where she was developing a full-time income. Now that happened over a period of months, ladies and gentlemen. Just a period of months where she had toiled and worked hard for years in the industry, and in a period of months she was making more money than she had ever made before. Let's talk about our model. We call this our Jubi Rev Daily Leadership Bonus, or DLB. Now, the way this works, this is just one of the 10 ways our company pays. The way this works is you and I are going to be rewarded every day that we're qualified based on the number of Jubi points that we've attained. Now, Jubi points are very important that we get this. Every time you have a customer register and claim Jubi bucks, or once Jubi Vacation launches, access to Jubi Vacations, or they get a sample sent to them, you're going to earn Jubi points. Now, I want you to think about this. The more you give, the more you get. The more you give, the more you get. The more you give, the more you get. So when we give away 50 Jubi bucks as an example to a customer, you're going to score Jubi points. When we give access to our Jubi Vacations, once that launches, you're going to score Jubi points. When someone gets a physical sample of our weight loss or energy products or what have you, because you gave them the sample, they cover the shipping and handling, you're going to score Jubi points. Now, each thing that we give away, you get some point, certain amount of points for Jubi bucks. One Jubi buck is one Jubi point. You'll get more Jubi points for each Jubi Vacation or Jubi resort membership that you are able to give away. You'll learn all of that. But for right now, let's just keep it simple. I'm going to refer to these as Jubi bucks. I give away one Jubi buck, I earn one Jubi point. I give away 100 Jubi bucks, I earn 100 Jubi points, so on and so forth. So let's talk about how this all works. Our attorneys want to make sure that we do put this slide up here. what we're about to share is only meant to convey how the Daily Leadership Bonus Program works. It is not meant to imply any income guarantees. Okay? All right, so this is how this works. So JubiRev calculates and determines its daily leadership bonus based on the company's daily commissionable sales volume, and there's some other metrics involved there. And then they determine how much of that day's revenue they're going to share with the field. Now, they'll share anywhere from up to 50%, sometimes even more. Now, then the company takes the amount of revenue it's going to share that day. How much is the company going to share that day? And the way you get your pro rata share is that they divide it by the number of active Jubi points in the system. So if you have Jubi points and you qualify for that day's reward, you earn that day, just like anyone else that has Jubi points and they're qualified for daily rewards that day. We will refer to this as a reward per point. Okay, now what are my qualifiers, Lamont? Well, I can tell you, when you come into our system, you'll be able to pull down our entire compensation PDF so that you can see the other 10 ways a company, or the 9 ways a company pays. I'm only going to cover one, maybe 1.5 ways that we pay here today. You'll also see all of our longer term requirements. But to get started is very simple, ladies and gentlemen. Can you place an ad and give away some Jubi bucks, or place an ad and give away some samples? Oh yeah, I can do that. As a matter of fact, the company's going to already have pre-approved ads. All you got to do is go and copy and paste those. You can do it in Facebook. You can do it in a number of different online venues that the company gives you access to, and then there are other ones that you can obviously seek out yourself. All right, so place an ad. This is going to help give us brand recognition, and then as our customers get our products as samples and use Jubi bucks, that's going to help us generate brand loyalty. Okay, so here we go. So let's say the company generates $1 million in commissionable sales volume for the day, and it shares 50% of that, or $500,000. Okay, so how much of that did you get? Well, it depends on the amount of Jubi points you have. Joe here has 100 Jubi points, and based on the number of Jubi points in the system that day and the amount the company was sharing, Joe totally, cumulatively, with his Jubi points, earned $1.25 for his reward. Now, we're paid our daily reward in additional Jubi bucks, and this is important to note because this is more inventory. Think of Jubi bucks as you would inventory. Think of Jubi bucks as you're offline and you've got a brick and mortar store, you've got a clothing store, and all of those clothes that you have on the racks, those are Jubi bucks. Okay, that's your inventory. All right, so you are rewarded in additional inventory. Now, you can commission up to 60% of that out as commissions. In other words, you can tell the system, hey, before you pay my daily reward, I want 60% of that daily reward to go into cash. And then the other amount would be in inventory. Sue, she's got 1,000 Jubi points, excuse me. Now, I want you to notice something. The ratio that Sue earns that night is the same ratio that Joe did. It's just that Sue has more Jubi points. Well, why does Sue have more Jubi points? Because she gave away more Jubi bucks. Wait a minute. Julio's got 10,000 Jubi points. Why does Julio have 10,000 Jubi points? Because he gave away more Jubi bucks. What's the moral of the story? Give away, give away, give away, give away, give away Jubi bucks. See, we know that every time real customers get Jubi bucks, that's an opportunity for them to go and use those Jubi bucks to make purchases. They get the product in hand. They like the product. That gives them an opportunity to come back again and again. No different than when you go to the shopping mall and you go to the food court, and there's a few restaurants there, and some of the smart restaurant owners, they'll give away some samples. So you tell, ooh, that was good. Ooh, what's that called? Yeah, I want some of that. The whole idea is that you get the product, you like the product, you come back and consume more. Julio's no better than Sue, no better than Joe. He just gave away more samples. Maybe it was because of process of time. Maybe it's because he committed, excuse me, more resources initially to purchase more Jubi bucks. Well, it doesn't matter. What we saw people like Lynn, who got started where she was in terms of purchasing inventory, never purchase any more than what your family can afford. purchase as much as your resources allow. Just don't hurt yourself. We saw people like Lynn start off with 100 Jubi points or so. It was another company, so they didn't call it Jubi points. They just called it points. And eventually she moved to 1,000 points. Eventually her point totals grew to 10,000 points. That's why you heard Boomy Moore say, hey, we see someone who's just getting started. They've got 72 Jubi points. And she was just excited about that person with 72 Jubi points and somebody with 72,000 Jubi points, because we understand that we're all building our point totals. Now, what happens if a person gets to 100,000 Jubi points? By the way, congratulations. No, he doesn't want me to call his name out, but one of our teammates just hit 100,000 Jubi points last night. Congratulations to you, my friend. All right, now, again, you can commission out as much as 60% of your daily reward. So if you earned 100 Jubi bucks in your reward for that night, and you wanted to commission a portion of that out, you could commission 10% of that out, 20%, 25%, as much as 60%. So that means this allows you a balance to have actual cash commission dollars, as well as continue to grow your Jubi buck totals, so you can give away more Jubi bucks to generate more Jubi points. Okay, now, as I'm going to transition here in just a moment, and we'll be rounding third in just a few minutes as well. Excuse me. The company had to make a very tough decision here, because as much as it loves the daily leadership bonus and knows, excuse me, that it can be tremendously impactful for all involved, particularly the 90%ers, the Joe and Susie averages. They looked at the compensation plan and said, well, wait a minute, we're going to have to put a cap on what people can earn from the daily leadership bonus, because we're essentially every commissionable sales transaction, whether it's coming from Jubi rebates, whether it's coming from someone purchasing Jubi Max branded products like our weight loss or our skincare or what have you, we're sharing that with all of our qualified promoters. They placed their ad that day. They kept the other qualifiers. Hey, they're earning. So here is the max. Here's the cap, $100,000. Okay. Ron says, Rufus says, Shannon says, okay, that's not bad. Steve says, you mean I can make $100,000 a year from the daily leadership bonus? And as excited as I am that you're excited, it's your Jubi. Remember, Jubi, where jubilant stands for excited or elated or what have you? You didn't quite let me finish. Jariah says, wait a minute, are you telling me I can make $100,000 a month just from the daily leadership bonus, and there are 9 other ways the company's going to pay? Jariah wants to take that $100,000 and multiply it times 12, and I want to do that too, and I want to hit the equal sign, but our attorney won't let me do it. He thinks that the regulators won't like us showing that big of a number on a webinar, so I'll let you figure it out. You're smart boys and girls out there. And Jariah, as much as I'm excited that you are Jubi, you're excited, you didn't let me finish. We're talking $100,000 a week, ladies and gentlemen. Now, will everybody hit $100,000 a week in actual cash in hand? No. Most people won't. But the fact is you could. That potential is there, and that's just one of the 10 ways that our company pays. The other thing I love about our model is that these Jubi points don't just earn for a day or two. And these Jubi points produce something that we had not seen prior to a couple of years ago in this industry, is daily residual income. See, without Jubi points, if you are a J director, your Jubi points earn for 80 days. But if you get promoted to Ruby, your Jubi points earn for 85 days. If you get promoted to Emerald, they earn for 95 days. If you get promoted to Diamond, they earn for 105 days. And I'm going to show you in just a few moments how you could get promoted to Diamond even if you're just seeing this presentation for the first time. You could be a Diamond as early as this evening so that your points earn longer. And let me tell you, I've known how big this is for a while, but it really highlighted itself the last couple of weeks. My wife's been in the hospital off and on the last couple of weeks. And that's why those of you that normally hear us come on webinars, you hadn't heard us, because I was being a husband. I was being father. This is what I should have been. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I was able to carve out enough time each day. I wasn't very attentive to Skype. I wasn't very attentive to text messages and phone calls, and I've got a lot of catch up to do, my gosh. But you know what I was able to do? Even when I was in a hospital room, make sure my ad was placed for the day. And I knew because I had earned points 15 days ago, those points were still earning. And I'd earned points 23 days ago, those points were still earning. As a matter of fact, because I got promoted to Diamond very early on, I know that all my points I earn tonight, earn for another 105 days. Points I earn tomorrow, next week. Points you earn on July the 17th can earn for as many as 105 days. That gives you daily residual income. Now, let's talk about one other way that our company pays, because this is what we saw. We saw the likes of Lynn, who heretofore had not been good at recruiting or sponsoring or selling. And one of the reasons that Lynn and people like Lynn had a tough time recruiting others to come and join in business, open up your questions about some of you ever heard this happens. Lynn would promote a business, and she wasn't making a lot of money. And she would go to somebody, and the person would say, well, when you start making money, then come and tell me. If you've ever had someone say that to you, put a yes in your questions box. When you start making money. Let me tell you a story, and I'm going to start rounding third in just a few moments. A few years ago, before we started doing really well in the business, you know, we had a time frame where we struggled. We started learning about trading in the stock market, started trading in the stock market full time. We went around the U.S. Even selling 5,000 stock market workshops. We got really good at it. And we had a company where we were doing some local stock market classes in my local area. I lived in North Carolina at the time. And one of my clients, or one of my students, I should say, is a guy named Henry. And when I say this, guys, please understand I'm not picking on Henry, but I really want you to understand it. So Henry was one of my students, and we were doing very well selling our stock market workshops and teaching workshops and trading in the stock market, so on and so forth, very well. And at that time, I was out of the network marketing business. I hadn't made a lot of money in network marketing at that time. We had struggled. We had found something that was working for us, and so I was out of network marketing. Henry wants to talk to me about a network marketing business that he was in, and Henry had a speech impediment. So he said, T. Lamont, I want you to take a look at my business. Well, you know, Henry's a student of mine. He had paid me good money to come, and so I said, okay, Henry, I'll take a look at it. But I really wasn't interested. I was burned out of network marketing. I hadn't made any money, and what I was doing was making me some money, right? And he came back the next week to the class, and T. Lamont, and I'm not picking on him. I want you to get this, okay? I want you to really sense this. Want you to take a look at my business. Well, the thing that was interesting is Henry had this little sparkle in his eye, you know, and this went on for about 4 or 5 weeks before I really sat down with this business. And then I asked him a question. I said, Henry, man, you seem to be really excited about this business. You know, Henry, have you made any money? He said, $2,000 last month. Whoa. Henry had my attention. Why? He had a story. And so what we saw is we saw people with this type model that they hadn't been good at recruiting or sponsoring other people to join them into a business enterprise, in large part because they didn't have a story. When Henry had a story, he had my attention. And by the way, I joined Henry. And by that time, because I had done some other things, I now had some influence. And I remember the first night we did our first meeting with that particular company, we had 40 people join our team. Because here was a guy who wasn't good at recruiting and sponsoring and selling, but he had a story, and he simply told his story, and that was all I needed, was to hear Henry's story. So we saw people starting to be able to develop a business. We saw people recruit 1 or 2 or 3 here or there. And then maybe their 1 or 2 or 3 recruited 1 or 2 or 3. And all of a sudden they looked up and they had a team of 20, 30 folks. And then maybe 40, 50 folks. Then maybe 100 folks. And then we saw folks that had teams of thousands, because everybody had the opportunity to make money. Now, when that happens, ladies and gentlemen, you can make some huge commissions. Let's say that you get promoted to Diamond and you referred Maria, and she purchases some inventory. She purchases some Jubi bucks. You get a 10% override. Let me give you the example. Now, maybe she purchased $1,000 worth of inventory. Maybe she purchased $10 worth. Maybe she purchased $2,500 worth. Maybe she purchased $250. We always encourage Maria. We would encourage you to purchase as many Jubi bucks as your resources allow, but just don't hurt your family. Don't go and put yourself in debt and anything like that. Now, you'll make a commission on that first purchase that Maria makes in this example if you refer to her. But what I really want you to get is the fact that when Maria is earning daily through the daily leadership bonus, you get a commission daily. How does that work, T. Lamont? Here we go. Let's say that Sunday, Maria earned 92 Jubi bucks through our daily leadership bonus. Remember, we're paid in Jubi bucks, okay? Now, we can commission a portion of that out, but let's assume that the 92 Jubi bucks you see here all went to her Jubi buck inventory. She didn't ask for any commissions. If she asked for commissions, whatever amount that did not get commissioned out would go to her Jubi buck inventory. Now, every new Jubi buck that she earns is another transaction that you get an override on. So when she earned 92 Jubi bucks on Sunday, you got a 10% override of 9.2 Jubi bucks. Remember, you can commission as much as 60% of that out. On Monday, she earned 101 Jubi bucks. You got another 10.1. On Tuesday, she earned 113. You got another 11.3. So what happened was, here we were building our business. Wife calls me on a Tuesday saying, hey, doctor says I need to go to the emergency room. We stopped right then. Let's get you to the emergency room. Doctor then said, we need to admit you. All right, let's get you admitted. But you know what was happening all the while? I made sure my ad was placed. I got my daily leadership bonus. But I had built a little team. I referred a few, they referred a few, they referred a few, and all of a sudden this little team is now a big team. And now, every day, we were still generating overrides. Even though I had to turn my attention away from my business. I did enough to make sure I got my daily rewards, and then I got my overrides. That's what we saw. We saw the likes of Lynn, who heretofore had not been good at recruiting, sponsoring, and selling, had a story. She would refer one here, and they might refer somebody, and they might refer somebody, and all of a sudden she started building referral income as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm right at my time here. I don't have time to talk about our Jubi Suite. You're going to learn about that in training. When you get that, it's going to happen. You may not sleep for a while. This chart that talks about the Jubi Suite, I believe in time you'll earn more from this chart than any other part of our compensation model. Let's go on and get you started. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do for our guests is you're going to want to get back. You're not guests anymore. You're family. You're family now. You're part of the Jubi family. By the way, if you left this webinar and you did like some folks did with Lynn, and, oh, it sounds interesting. Let me think about it, pray about it. You know, call me back in a day or two, and then you don't answer the phone in a day or two and don't answer the phone. You know what? You're going to be asleep one night, and you're going to hear my voice saying, Lynn got paid every single day. How much money did you lose? How much money did you leave on the table? Every day that you delay is a day of earning that you leave on the table. I don't like leaving money on the table. Here we go. You're going to get back with the person who referred you. They're going to get you their referral link. You're going to register for free. Then you're going to choose, or you want to consider choosing, a monthly subscription where we can be products of the product. If I'm Jubi 15, I'm on a $15 a month subscription. That means I get 15 what we call personal use Jubi bucks. We call them Max bucks. We don't give these away. We use these so that we are products of the product. If I'm Jubi 50, this is like having a $50 auto ship and getting $50 worth of product. Jubi 100 is like getting $100 worth of products. Jubi 200, Jubi 200, you might get the skincare and the weight loss and maybe throw in some energy. You got a nice sampling of products that you and your family get to use on a monthly basis. Now, the reason this monthly subscription is really important is that it also gives you volume. And with that volume, you can earn your ranks. So if you've got $15 a month in volume by virtue of a $15 a month subscription, you're Jade. And your points are earned for 80 days. That's phenomenal. However, if you've got a Ruby a designation, if you've got a $50 a month subscription, you earn for 85 days. You can earn for 95 days, your points could earn for 105 days. And what that means is that any points you earn today would earn for the next 105 days, so long as you place your ad. Any points you earn tomorrow would earn for as many as 105 for 105 days. Now, what we always encourage folks to do is to choose the highest monthly subscription that fits your budget and fits your business goals. Everyone should be eyeing the Diamond Director designation, because that gives you the biggest bang for your buck. If you've got the resources to start there, start there. If you don't have the resources to start there, start where you can. But ultimately, you want to be Diamond. Let your business help get you there once you start seeing some profitability in your business. Okay. Third thing you're going to do, you got back with the person who referred you was number 1. Number 2, you chose your monthly subscription. Number 3, let's buy some Jubi bucks. Let's get some inventory. Hey, you've got a clothing store, you need some clothes on the rack. You've got a health food store, you need some inventory. What's our inventory? Jubi bucks. That's what we're giving away to generate Jubi points. You can buy as little as 10 Jubi bucks. You can buy as many as 2,500 Jubi bucks. Purchase as much as your resources allow. Okay. For those of you that have more resources and you want to buy more Jubi bucks, well, you can load your system with more. However, you can only purchase $2,500 at a time. You have to use or give away or consume 70% of the $2,500. Then you can come back and buy some more. Okay. That's a U.S. regulation that we have to follow. Okay. Now, with that being said, I'm going to show you just a couple of disclaimers here. And then we're going to do a couple of optional sessions. Optional session number 1 is going to be showing you in our back office for our guests exactly what you need to do, the steps you need to take so that you can put yourself in an earning position. You could join with us tonight, and you could be in position to earn with us tomorrow night. Okay, so I'd love to see you earn within the next 24 hours. Let me give you the other disclaimer. Welcome to all of our new family members. Remember, JubiRev is not just a company, it's a movement. Good night, everyone.
Do you want to earn daily residual income by giving away quality products and services for free? Get started today and we will show you how. If you have any questions, please get back to the person that shared this video with you. Otherwise, simply click on the link below and get started today. We look forward to hearing of your success.